All she's ever wanted is what's best for me. Forever flooding me with love, support and empathy. A mother's child in her eyes, forever I'll be. Forever I'll be. That boy slapping on my fish fingers and baked beans, late for school as she's nudging my shoulders, trying her best to gently wake me. Running around the garden, collecting conkers, getting muddy knees, scared of the dark, pretending not to be, of bumblebees. Forever I'll be. That boy who can't sit still, fidgeting, untucked shirt, still managing to get scribbles of biro on his cheek, somehow school trousers caped in dirt, falling over and pretending it didn't hurt. That boy, forever I'll be. Burning evenings in the sun, pedaling my tractor round and around the garden, outside, feeling free, whilst inside the house there's someone there making sure I'm all right, keeping an eye on me. Taking a couple years longer than the others to stop sucking my fingers. So she gave me this invisible nail varnish that tasted like off lemons, which allowed me to stop. And when I could accomplish that, I felt like there was nothing in my way of ever reaching the top. Because that boy, forever I'll be, jumping over sofas when she's trying to watch the TV, hiding under covers when she's trying to change the bed sheets, a cheeky little shit. Avoiding any glimpse or glances of seriousness, devoid of any symptoms or lack of love's deliriousness. When I'd get like this, she'd call me French bread. Because the French word for bread is pain, spelt like pain, and I didn't know because I hadn't linked that chain from my French classes yet. If she didn't want to play football with me, she said she couldn't because she had a bone in her leg, and I'd nod in understanding whilst not really understanding that we, of course, all have bones in our legs. One day I'd realise this and we'd giggle about it so much until tears were shed. Because after love, the next best thing you can give a child is humour, and she would laugh till it consumed her whilst I soaked it all up like a Henry the Hoover. Because that boy, forever I'll be, growing up too fast, she holds me close to make it last, and I push away. Teenage years and I'm getting angsty, feeling overgrown and itching to ditch this name just because I think it's lame. 18 now, and I start to think that that boy is in fact gay. Dreading the day I see the look on her face, but eventually plucking up the courage and essentially realising that everything's going to be okay. That is after a couple of awkward questions and answers are out of the way. Because that boy, forever I'll be, bumbling around astray, travelling this world, making her heartbeat skip and sway, falling in and out of love. The drug-like rise and the sobering plunge, she's an extended arm to soak up my tears like a sponge. But my mum, forever she'll be. Pointing me in the right direction, my guiding light, my calming tone, not a house nor a town, but the closest thing I've come across to the very definition of home. For that boy, forever I'll be, slurping on my baked beans, late for school as she's nudging my shoulders, trying her best to gently wake me, running around the garden collecting conkers, getting muddy knees, scared of the dark, pretending not to be of bumblebees. Forever I'll be. In the loving, caressing care of a mother, one of a kind 007, because a bond like this is truly like no other.
Yes, Henry, how are we doing? What a poem.
Thank you very much, mate. This is kind of weird, isn't it?
This is very weird, but you know what? I'm liking it. Glad to have you on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Honestly, I love Forever I'll Be. One of those poems where it just evokes straight childhood nostalgia, you know, like some of those lines, like scribbles of biro on his cheek and invisible nail varnish that tasted like off lemons, you know, it's just so pure, and I'm sure it's something that we can all relate to. One thing I really wanted to do straight off the bat is split this special episode of ours into two parts, essentially.
Yeah.
Learning more about Henry the poet himself and Word Spoken as two separate entities. I mean, are you all good with that?
I'm fine with that, mate.
Look at
You fire away.
Love that.
You're in
Okay.
the driving seat on this one. How are you feeling about that? Is it a bit weird?
I'm nervous. I want to do.
Can I say that it's weird for me
Yeah.
being the guest? Because look, you've been kind of like wanting to do this for a while, right? And this is the third. It was third time lucky. We were trying to do this over and over again and kept pushing it back. So look, we eventually got it down, and I feel just as weird being the guest on my own show. So yeah, but I'll say straight off the back. Thanks for coming on doing this. This is fun.
No, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
and like,
it's just quite weird being the other way around.
Thanks for trusting me, bro. Like,
Well, I mean, I haven't said I trusted you.
no, okay, we'll have to wait and see, guys. If you like this episode, again, like, comment, share, subscribe,
Yeah.
all the usual. I really wanted to just start straight with just learning more about you, because I feel as though, people have listened to this podcast for a year now, and none of them, or not many of them, have learned the true you. So I know. So here we're gonna get into the nitty gritty.
Now I'm getting exposed on my own thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do all the fans justice with this. I hope.
All the fans.
All the fans.
Yeah.
Well, what or who inspired you to start writing in the first place, especially with a piece like that?
Yeah. So how did I start writing? Honestly, the very first poem I ever wrote was actually more of a rap. And I was working at the time for a company called Gala Bingo. And I wrote basically a rap all about being a player on galabingo.com.
Nice.
And I showed it to my colleagues one lunchtime, and they were like, Henry, that's really quite funny and quite good. Do you mind doing it at the Christmas party? I was 18 years old. It was my first job.
Yeah.
And I ended up performing my Gala Bingo rap at the Gala Bingo Christmas party. And that was the first piece. I mean, it was super silly. It was a complete piss take. But that was probably the first piece that was like something that I had written.
Yeah.
And then it was actually, whilst at that same job a few years later, during the days, I would find, this is being a bit honest here, but I would find myself like on a little notepad in the corner of my screen. I'll say this, it was during my breaks.
Yeah. Not working.
Writing.
Working hard.
Exactly. Writing poems when I was at my desk. And I think the first one was actually, it was called Friday, and it was taking the piss out of people that come in on a Friday at work and just say the day of the week as if it's like an interesting thing to say. Friday.
Yeah.
So it was that, and I wrote that, and I would only record them as like a voice note on my phone, and then just send them to a couple of friends. And that's.
Does this include Maddie Haynes from our second episode?
I hadn't met her yet. This was when I was still living with my parents.
I see.
Down in the south of Spain where they live.
Big up. Yeah. Guys, if you didn't know, Henry is fluent in Spanish. And if you haven't heard his Spanish raps,
I was.
Yes.
I feel like I'm slightly less fluente nowadays.
I saw a really good poem from you in Spanish while you were in Spain. I believe.
Yeah. That was
it.
my first open mic after all the carnage that was locked down for so long, and it felt amazing. And I was in Spain, so I was like, well, I better do my Spanish one, because otherwise the crowd wouldn't understand a word I said.
Yeah. But everyone here listening, I'm sure you understand Henry perfectly, because he has a cadence to his poems, and obviously straight off the bat, humor. Like, I love that about you and about your style. It's very unique, and I think that's what resonates with so many people, not just myself,
Thanks,
also,
man.
one thing that you do mention in your poem, and obviously me and you, we've spoken about it before. You've opened up to me, you've opened up to so many people, and you touch on it in other poems as well. But it's your sexuality, I mean, how much of that influences your writing? Yeah,
I mean, that's it's kind of a weird one, because like when I first came out, so I say in that first piece, I was like, I'm 18, and I realized that boy might be gay. I think I actually didn't tell my parents until it was first year of uni, so it was probably a year later.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell them. I didn't say, Mom, Dad, I'm a gay person.
Not the traditional movie.
No,
way,
I mean, it was similar. I waited till we were in like a public place. We were in a restaurant, so I thought that would be a bit of a safe place. But what I said was, look, I'm seeing someone, and I can like remember. I mean, shout out to my parents because they will be listening for sure.
Come on, the Beckwiths.
So don't worry, guys. You're not getting judged for this. But it was quite funny because I can like remember them saying like, oh, who is she? When's she gonna come out and like come and see us? And I remember just saying, he's called, and then I won't say his name, but he's called so and so, and then so that's how I came out, and I preferred that because it wasn't a label. I wasn't I'm this, I'm that. I'm just saying I'm seeing a guy.
Absolutely.
And I felt that was kind of better. And then I would say probably how it's influenced my writing. I've explored my sexuality through my poetry. I think I've written quite a few pieces. I mean, some of them are pretty vulgar, as you know, but
they go down a hoot with the audiences, though.
I've written like a few which kind of mention it. I guess I use it as a tool to explore my own boundaries. But I must admit, having done that for a few years, I'm actually still a little bit confused, if I'm honest.
Confused.
Yeah, the one thing I can't get past. This is more of a recent thing. I'm bloody 26. Is I don't like kind of being stamped with something because I feel like
in a box almost.
Yeah. And there's some people that do, and like those labels work for those people really well. But I think it. I don't know. It feels a bit narrow for me, but it's probably largely true. I don't know.
I get you, but obviously, like your sexuality is not the whole part of your identity. You know, like there's so much more to you than that.
Well, that's true. I mean, well, if people had seen me at an open mic, you wouldn't assume that. But I do like remember when I first kind of was thinking about coming out. That was something that I was really worried about kind of becoming the gay guy in the group, or like, I mean, I was terrified what my mates would think because like. I mean, I didn't have a clue really until I was that age. So trust me, none of my mates did.
Of course.
And so that was kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, I guess through my art form of spoken word, I like to kind of shove it in people's faces a little bit sometimes.
I get you.
You need a USP, don't you?
Yeah, that unique selling point. Oh my God. But it's not just about the writing, obviously, with poetry, obviously with spoken word. It's about the performance, and you perform. Again, that your USP is the style of your performance. I think that's what, affects so many people in such a positive, dark, sometimes like deep way.
Well, the one thing I like, so I'm not actually doing this piece today, but the one thing I do quite like to do through my poetry is break people's misconceptions about people that are gay. So like, for example, I've got a piece which is quite vulgar, and it's so the like concept of is like a lot of rap music, and it's all by straight people, like there's 99% straight people that rap, and lots of it's quite vulgar, and I'm fine with that, but society's not really used to exactly the same thing but told from a gay person's point of view. So I quite like to be not what you think I would be based upon the label which I've sort of worn but sort of want to not wear.
No, I get you. You're breaking stereotypes, bro.
Oh, you know me, breaking boundaries,
pushing the
boat out.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly.
But like with things like performance routine as well, like how do you get into that? Because again, it's different from writing than it is to saying it aloud.
It's such a big difference, and honestly, yeah, you're right. And so I didn't. I challenged myself one New Year's to perform at an open mic because I'd had a couple of these poems, like the Friday one, and like a couple others.
Did you have French ensuite at that point as well?
No, okay. None of that had happened yet. Yeah.
We're going way back.
We're going way back. Yeah, and like, so I had a couple, and I was like, look, I need to do this at an open mic. And I'd never gone to an open mic.
Are we about to say These Heels?
It wasn't that. No.
Okay, again, even further back.
Further back.
Damn, man.
It was one called I Fucked My Ears, and it was about having tinnitus, which I have.
Okay.
And again, it was trying to be vaguely light-hearted about it. Although when I look back on it now, it was a little bit deep. But
I didn't know this about you, man.
Yeah, well, yeah. But the main thing that I kind of took away from doing it live was how visceral it is at an open mic, and how it's just, I mean, there's one thing recording voice notes on your phone and talking about nonsense, but
Different
you
vibe.
put yourself in front of a mic and it is terrifying. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'd be like this, but once you've done it and you get that response from the crowd, it's really addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that, I don't know what it is. It's just that feeling, those endorphins that you get as soon as you're off the mic and while you're on the mic. Even that like mini panic or just that feeling before you come on stage. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know how. Do you feel? Do you feel it ever varies for you, or is it always the same?
Yeah,
emotion.
What, prior to going on?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I used to get very nervous, and then I kind of, the more confident, it makes sense, but the more confident I would get, or the more how well I knew the piece that I was going to do would completely depend on my confidence. Like if it's a piece which I've got in the bag, like I just know it well, then I get up and I know it's going to go smoothly. But otherwise, it's tough.
I get you. Have there ever been any moments where you're like, shit, I can't do this? Or
no,
never?
No.
Good.
No, I've always, I'm a bit of a show off, aren't I? So the moment I get,
we love that about you, man.
The moment I get a bit of a crowd, I'm there.
Yeah. Do you ever feed off the crowd? Like you ever find moments in your poems? Because I noticed with some of your poems, there are points that are perfect for audience interaction, or you have a good pause or a silence because you know that it's going to get good reaction.
Which is actually what I found quite weird about putting my pieces together for this, because you were the only person in the room when
it's
I was
just me, bro.
when I'm doing them. So it's I mean, look, my favorite form to do spoken word is live for sure.
Yeah.
Like this podcast is fun, but I way prefer doing my stuff with a crowd. And I think that's why I started to, after having written it for a little while, I started to kind of go down the making people laugh route, because that's the more enjoyable side of it for me. Like
it's contagious. Laughter is contagious.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was like an ego trip, but when you make a group of people laugh, it's a different thing to kind of making them pensive and deep, like with some other deep stuff, which happens at open mics. And I think also one thing I started to realize, having gone to loads of open mics, was like, I thought potentially too large a proportion of it was just like super deep, and which meant that the few people that came on that were funny were such a welcome break.
Yeah.
So I decided to want to be that person in the lineup.
It's that refreshing aspect, because what I notice with open mics is the versatility in each of them. I mean, what open mic nights and poetry events have stood out to you? Like, what have been your favorites? What have you obviously, if you're listening to this, you are probably listening to this while we're in lockdown, so there isn't much going on, but there actually are a few.
There are starting now, aren't they? They're all just
up.
Like minimum maximum numbers, whatever, like
maximum numbers, minimal seats, social distancing, or everything.
They are kind of run well, I think. So favorite nights, I mean, it's been mentioned on the show a lot, but Chocolate Poetry Club
big up.
is great. I think Word Up is another night which is great. BYOB as well, I think it's really good. I think if I had to, I'm sure I've missed a couple there, so sorry for that. Off the Chest, give a shout out to them. The one thing that I like in a night is a rowdy and vibrant crowd.
Absolutely.
And I think, to be honest, it's Chocolate that gets the prize with that one. Like that room
100.
is intense. Yeah. Sean is often hosting it, and
there's no microphone.
And there's no microphone. That's another thing. And Trouble Tongues as well. Yeah. That's a good one. So there are loads. I've definitely missed some there, but I like vibrant. I like a bit raucous, a little bit edgy sometimes. I like a variety. I want some deep stuff, but I want someone to good old smutty poem in there.
Smutty poem.
Yeah.
What's the craziest poem you've ever heard?
Craziest poem I've
listened
ever
to a
heard.
lot of poems.
I have, especially doing this show. Crazy? I don't know. Crazy. I mean, there's so many different ways something could be crazy.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like wordplay, probably Woodsy.
He's just on another level.
Just his wordplay is incredible.
Yeah.
And then if I had to choose someone put to music that I think's the sickest, Sarah Callahan. And I'm going to say Untitled Never Lost, because Numbers is her most known piece, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know what it is about the beat with her one entitled Untitled Never Lost, but it's one I come back to many times. So
I get you. But is there anyone specifically who inspires you at the start of your journey, or even in more recent times? Any poets, or even not even poets, could be artists.
Yeah, what inspires me? George the Poet, classic, but I just think he's amazing. I love his stuff. I love Kate Tempest as well. These are kind of like cliches, but
these are the big dogs.
They are for a reason.
The big dogs. Yeah.
I think they're the best people to do this. I don't know. Other than people I've met on, I don't know who else other than that. I mean, other than the people I've said, you, mate, you've got to get in there.
What are you talking about, bro? Nah, you inspire me. Like, honestly, there have been times where I've just wanted to sack it all in, but then I look at you and I think there is a brother who just wants to keep going no matter what. And it's not just me, man. I've spoken to so many other people in the scene, outside of the scene, people that I've got onto this podcast, and they just say instantly, this guy, Henry Beckwith, has just got an energy. And they're not even joking. They're just being deadly serious.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, I'm gassed. I'm not gonna lie. I am gassed to be sitting here and you in the hot seat.
Yeah.
But what we are going to do now is going to get into the next poem, which I'm can I swear? So fucking excited.
You can swear as much as you like. This is not live on Channel 4, mate.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I am very, very excited to hear from the one and only Henry Beckwith is 20 something.
Yeah, so this is a new one. I've more recently kind of going down the route of trying to be vaguely humorous.
Yeah.
I've added to the mixture a little guitarlele, which is a mixture of a guitar and a ukulele.
Oh yeah.
His name is Gary.
Gary
the guitarele. And I've added that as a kind of element to my pieces more recently. And what's the setup for this one? Basically, I'm a 20-something, so I'm kind of a little bit unsure of what my parameters are in terms of age. Like life, it's kind of like you're at a crossroads, but which one you're going down. They're like formative years, but we're also completely clueless like to what we're really doing. So I try to like capture that as well, like a bit of the time in this one.
Interesting preamble. I like that. Well, here for you all to enjoy by Henry Beckwith featuring Gary is 20 something.
Cause I put the something into 20-something, the thing in something, the so in some. Cause I don't know what I wanna do, just that my age ends in something and starts with 2. I'm a mid-20 misfit with a Fitbit. Use it for the watch cause I clock that it looks sick. Lit are types of words that I'm using. Unironically in my whip as I'm cruising. I say my whip, but I really mean a zip car. I don't have the money to be owning this car. Rent's intent on making a dent. Monthly wage got me spent as I'm counting every pence. Yes, rent, God, I'm never gonna own. House prices rising, income stifling. But don't worry, it's a time of my life. Who needs a mortgage when your avocados are ripe? Am I right? Love life, I love to swipe right. Plenty of fish in this sea, but lately all I'm catching is sharks. Got a box full of matches, but I'm looking for a spark. Cause I put the something into 20-something, the thing in something, the so in some. Cause I don't know what I wanna do, just that my age ends in something and starts with 2. And they say 30s are the new 20s, but that's just a lie to be let down gently. And they say age is just a number. Well, that may be true, but it's one that increases. I work at a startup in a WeWork. Each day we start working the WeWork. When I say work now, I mean the past tense, cause our startup sort of started up, but then this pandemic really mucked it up. So we work from home, own loo, own slippers, own phone. Then we lost our jobs and now we need work. But have no fear, Dishy Rishy's got a cunning plan tucked behind his ears. Quarantine and furlough. If you asked me what those words meant last year, I'd have been like, I don't know. I thought quarantine was a type of orange. But we can all help out if we just eat out. The 20-somethings flock to the rescue. Then we get blamed for the rise. Plus, when I sneezed on the tube, no one said bless you. Rude. It's true, this life's gonna test you. When we had no loo roll, what did you do? There's a story for the grandkids. We use like magazines or kitchen roll. Work pretty well. Yeah. What are magazines? It's like an iPad made out of paper. Anyway. Cause I put the something into 20-something, the thing in something, the so in some. I don't know what I wanna do, just that my age ends in something and starts with 2. And they say we will retire at 70, won't hit the pearly gates till we're nearing the century. And they say age is just a number. Well, that may be true, but it's one that increases. I'm 26.
Hey, the 26-year-old Henry Beckwith with vocals better than Ed Sheeran, rapping. Oh, I just love that.
Yeah, I think that the line it's like, and they say is very much stolen from Ed Sheeran. So cheers, Ed. That was a good one.
No, we appreciate you, Ed. We appreciate you. Honestly, throughout that, I was trying so hard not to click. You know the clicking. I just miss it so much. Don't you miss it? Oh,
yeah, for sure. I know. We've been starved of our clicks, us vibrant poets, haven't we?
Yeah, all the screams, all the shouting, chair throwing. No, not chair throwing, but yeah. Now I want to learn more, and as I'm sure the rest of the world wants to learn more about
the world, the entire world,
mate. Mate, this is the world's best poetry podcast.
Yeah.
You've had listeners from all over the world. I have seen your stats.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether that's people traveling. Like, I
hadn't thought of that.
There was one, yeah. there
Let's have
was
the facade
one
of everyone.
I know. I had a friend from work. I thought who went traveling to Taiwan, and I was looking at the stats once, and I was like, oh my god, I've got to listen in Taiwan. Yeah. I was like, great, let's break the Asian market, and then I realized it was my friend just out there.
Oh no, bro! I can guarantee you've broken the Asian market. Look at me. There's an Asian guy sitting here right now interviewing you. But yeah, no, just like what genuinely inspired you to start Word Spoken in the first place, and also I'm thinking, why a podcast?
Yeah, so I started the podcast because, look, I had been going to a lot of open mics. I will say this, I hadn't been going for very long. It was 6 months after the first open mic I'd ever gone to. Which was Poeticlopedia in Brick Lane. And
shout out.
6 months later, I started a podcast all about spoken word, which is the most ridiculous thing because I knew nothing about it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So I'll fully...
Why would you even do that?
I will fully admit. I don't know why, but the reason why I did it is I saw that there was so much talent on the scene, and I was amazed that I had not really seen this art form on like it didn't have a digital footprint that I felt that it needed. Like there was so much talent, there was so many amazing people performing at these open mic nights. So I was looking through YouTube and looking for podcasts to kind of get that spoken word kind of feeling, but outside the setting of an open mic. And I found some, and like there are some, and some of them are really great, but I just felt like there wasn't enough. So I wanted a creative like-thing to get going. You saw the gap
in the market.
Yeah, I just did it. And I asked you, and I knew I'd met you.
You knew I'd say
I kind of knew you'd say yeah. So I asked you, and you did say yes. And I was like, yes, I've got a guest.
Of course, man. And I see something special brewing in the midst. Like you just can't say no. you know. You've got
Yeah, and
that
look,
leap of
this is
faith.
pretty much a year on, and we're
Exactly
back
a
in the
year on.
same studio.
Yeah.
To
Shout out
do
the
another
Tooting
one.
Bedroom, the infamous, the ends.
Yeah, so I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. It was good fun.
I'm really glad you did, as I'm sure thousands of others have. I mean, I've seen your stats, bro. Don't lie to them. Don't lie to them. But I think with podcasts, what's interesting is, you know, people can come up with the idea of a great podcast and they can start it and it, you know, starts flying. But what's the difficult part of that is continuing it, you know, like carrying it on. Like, not only why did you start it, but, you know, why have you maintained it? Honestly, like, you know, and kept it going, especially during lockdown. Because, you know, getting to 1 year is a fucking huge milestone. Man.
I know. I mean, I must admit, during the peak of lockdown, I did have a bit of a break. Had about a couple months off. Because prior to that, it was every week for like 20 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and we were so grateful.
Yeah. No, that's a lie. 30. Because during lockdown was around 20. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was, I basically started doing it weekly and then realized, I don't want to stop doing it weekly now. But the weeks go by. There are only 7 days in a week.
Yep.
Anyway, so I think the reason I kept it going was I wanted to get better at it. I think is the main thing. Like as great as you were on the first ep, I cannot listen to it because I think I'm rubbish on it.
Well, yeah, we were both novices.
Yeah,
like, I've always said that you were incredible on that.
No, you have, and that's very kind.
Yeah.
But it's just whenever I listen back to stuff much like from a while ago,
yeah, of course you improve.
I kind
naturally.
of cringe out at it.
Yeah.
And I saw that's why I kept it. This is probably really selfish, but that's why I kept it going. Is I wanted to get better at it, and also there's no shortage of talent. Like there's no shortage. There's still so many people that I could get on and want to get on. So like I just kept on being like, oh, he'll be really great. Oh, she'll be amazing, you know? And so like I never found myself without a guest in the like coming up that I was really excited to get on, basically.
Yeah. But even with obviously, you know, society changing as we know it. You know, people going on furlough. Obviously, I'm you know, you balancing your work life with poetry in the podcast. Like, how did that all come into play? Did it ever affect you? Are you sure you never wanted to just sack it all off?
No.
I rate the honesty.
No, because what I would say has happened kind of with lockdown is I used to pretty much meet everyone that come onto the show, with the exception of a few people that we just linked up on social media. But I met most people, including yourself, at open mics. So what's been a little bit harder more recently is finding new people because there aren't the nights to do so.
Yeah,
so.
There's Instagram lives, but it's not the same.
No. And like the kind of main thing like that I'm thinking about when I'm like choosing someone on is like, are we going to have a good back and forth, like as a conversation? And you can't know that from just an Instagram. Like you can with some people. I think Mr. Melise I hadn't met before. I don't think we'd even spoken on the phone before we came down and did the episode. Yeah. But we had a conversation. I checked out his stuff and I knew he was going to be great. So it was fine.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I think with obviously the people that you've had on in the past, I mean, how do you choose the poets that you want to be featured? You know?
Yeah.
And also, how do you choose the order of the poems that get featured, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of choosing the poets, like honestly, the main thing I look for is someone that is like outward in the way, like this is weird. How can I phrase this? People that give. So when you're with someone and they engage with you and they just give.
It's that energy in it.
I think it's just an energy, and that's more about the like persona, like the personality that they have. But in terms of the work, because that's the primary thing is like, do I like their work? And it's completely subjective. Like like it's just whether I like it or not. But the main thing I look for in a poet, and the ones which I really like, are people that engaged me from the very, very start. And so it's actually more about the performance for me than it is necessarily the kind of clever or like pretty writing. Like that, like I'm more of a performance poet, I think. And that's just what I tend to like. And I think that's what comes across better on a mic. Because if you can't, obviously there is the YouTube channel, which I urge people to go and check out. But
subscribe.
You know, this is basically a podcast. So
But you can see Henry's beautiful face on the YouTube channel.
But how well will their work come across when it's just the audio? Because not everyone will naturally translate well to a podcast format.
Yeah, I get
That's
you.
probably a subconscious thought. I don't actively think of that. But yeah.
No, I completely get you, bro. And the artists, obviously, you've interviewed and taken in, like, have they affected you or like inspired you, even altered the style of your writing and your performance?
100%.
Yeah, I've always
this is
wondered
another reason why I want to do it more, is because
it must have.
Yeah, like 100%. Like, because with each person that kind of comes down, look, they come to what is literally my bedroom, like, even though it doesn't look like it. They come to my bedroom and I sit down with them. I hear them perform 3 pieces and I chat with them for roughly about an hour. It's a very intimate thing to do with someone, right? So from everyone I've had on the show, I really like, you get to know them in a very personal way,
intimate way, innit?
Very intimate way. And then also because I edit and go through all the things, I know their pieces really, really well because I've listened to them so many times whilst doing the edit. So I find that from each poet, I learn a lot, and for sure it shapes like my own work because I build on the bits from everyone I have on the show, for sure.
I like that. And then you become the ultimate poet in the world.
That's why I do it. Yeah, I'm trying to beat everyone else.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
What have been your highlights throughout the whole, not even the season, because you've had a few seasons, like every single episode you've ever had, there must be some moments where you just look back and you're like, rah, that was sick.
Highlights,
or even funny, or even like emotional. Like,
there's been some interesting bits. Like, you know, we've actually spoken about this and it's come up in the past, but I misgendered Tanaka Fuego accidentally, of course. And I thought, whilst that was very embarrassing for me
personally
and him, like totally, it led to, I think, one of the most profound conversations I've had. And it was really natural. And the way he kind of spoke about what it feels like to be misgendered and how that can affect him. I thought that little snippet was probably one of the best bits. And it started from me being a Muppet. So I think that's probably the most insightful bit. And then, I don't know, I don't want to pick one other person out and be like, they're the best. But I often...
But you've had some good memories here.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that.
For sure.
I like that. Well, now we are going to go onto the hilarious.
I am shitting myself about this.
You already know what it is, guys. It's the 155 challenge.
155.
So the 155 is the part of the show where we challenge our lovely guests to a quick-fire free write. The rules are as follows. So you must pick one word at random from the box in front of you and write a piece all about that word. You have 1 minute 55 seconds to complete this task, after which you solemnly swear to read it out loud. Do you, Henry Beckwith? Do you solemnly swear to read it out loud?
You absolutely nailed that, Ace. Well done.
Yeah?
Yes, okay. I solemnly swear to read it out loud.
I rate that. Okay. So
oh God, I haven't mentally prepped myself for this.
Let me.
Honestly, the one thing I will say is I've been so impressed with everyone else that has done this. So now I'm throwing my hat into the ring. I'm feeling a little bit weird about this.
Everyone who has done this has been fucking phenomenal. So we expected big things from you.
The word is space.
Space. Ooh, space. I like that. Okay, so space.
Okay. Should we get 155 up on the timer?
Yeah.
Okay. So where am I going to go with this? I don't really know, man. Let's see what happens. Okay. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Space. Your time starts now.
I didn't even open the book first.
Oh, he's writing. He's going for it. Oh. Wow, he's actually a fast handwriter. I need to come up with a fact about space. I actually do have a fact about space, to be fair. There may be life on Mars. Space is completely silent. Nobody knows how many stars are in space. These are the space facts I've got off the top of my head. Let me see if Google has anything. Meanwhile, Henry is on fire. Oh, okay, here's an interesting fact. So, about space. In the observable universe, there are an estimated 2 trillion galaxies. The International Space Station is the largest ever crewed object in space. And there you go, guys. If you didn't already know that about space, you now know. How long we got left on the clock? 40 seconds left. Come on, Henry, you got this. Now you know the torment of what your guests have to
I
go
know,
through in
this
the
is
past.
horrendous. Oh, this is horrible.
Oh, I'm going to hit you with some more space facts in the meantime. You've got 15 seconds. The temperature in the void of space is about minus 270.5 Celsius degrees. Wow. There are an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars in a galaxy. Milky Way. You got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is the 155 challenge. Put your pens down, lads.
Oh my God, that is stressful, man.
That was big. Oh my God. How are you feeling?
Okay, look, the one thing I also do is give people time to read it through.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
So let me just read it through in my head. Oh God, this is terrible, man.
Guys, if you can't see on the camera, Henry's face is so jokes right now.
My brain comes up with all sorts of nonsense.
I've
right?
never
Do you know
seen
what?
you
I'm
like
just,
this, you know.
I'm just gonna read
Fucking
it.
hell, man. I've never seen you like this.
I can't remember how I ended
You're
it.
shaking. Go on, guys. We got
Okay,
him.
you ready?
Oh, well,
155
I'm born ready. Let's
with
go.
the word space. Space. What you gonna do? Time is elusive. I'm the sole on a shoe. Wear your clogs if you're ever in the mud. Be who you are if you've ever feeling crud. Space is limitless. Are there aliens out there? Who the fuck knows? Life on Mars, I'll have a think whilst I'm chewing on my bar.
What? Are you joking? Come on, G. Oh my days.
That was hard, man.
That was so bright.
That was stressful.
That was sick. What? Your rhyme scheme as well. Like, it's really hard to come up with that off the dome. I don't know how you did that.
I mean, it could be improved. Well, why I find it hard to do this is when I write, man, I do a first draft and then it's boom, it's edited so much. So for me, just to free write is very rare. I don't do it.
Do you free write often? Like,
No,
what's
no.
your, so your
That's
writing
not my process.
Yeah, talk to me about your writing process. Just a quick one.
So yeah, I mean, my writing process, I normally just start with a note on a phone and I just jolt something down. I think of something, I jolt something down. And then when it comes to actually making a piece, it's going through all of that, cutting, editing, shifting. It takes me ages.
Yeah,
it doesn't take me 1 minute 55.
Nah.
So it takes me ages. I pull together coherent enough bits for my notes on my phone and then decide it's a piece. That's how I do it.
Nice. Nice. Okay. After that, quite fire poem. We're going to go into the next and final poem.
Yes.
So if you'd like to tell our lovely listeners and watchers,
Yes.
what is your third and final poem, Henry?
So my third and final poem is again another bit of a song. The last one was a bit more of a rap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This one is a similar style, to be honest, but it's called Yes You Are. And again, it's a bit of a nod to the tongue-in-cheek side of myself, and playing with people's perceptions of what they think I'm about to say. That's all I'll say about it.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited
Yeah.
to hear this.
The one thing I always say is, if you are listening, go make sure you check like IGTV on YouTube, because I feel like this one is quite visual. I don't know.
Yeah.
So listen as well. That'd be fun. But
IGTV on the Word Spoken podcast.
Word Spoken podcast. But yeah, if you want to watch it, go and do that. It's called Yes You Are.
Yes, you are.
There's a secret I've kept for many years, quashed by crippling thoughts and crumbling fears. Society's up against those like me. We're discriminated by the majority. I was around 20 when I realised I was like this. Was terrified to tell my family despite it. Being somewhat socially acceptable nowadays, it's a fear you'll probably never know. Tried not to wear certain clothes to make sure no one noticed. Years of lying to myself and those who were my closest. Friends, I dropped to my knees and fell to the floor. I couldn't take the pain, I couldn't take no more. But now I stand proud to confess my truth. I'm smashing the glass ceiling off a rhyme's sake, glass roof. And now I've come with my guitar lay to announce I'm a word containing both G and A. Why? How do I say this? I'm a vegan.
Yes, you are.
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 Yes, I'm environmentally conscious. Could sometimes be accused of being a tad obnoxious, but my meat-free, eggless, unbuttered health does make me better than you, so go yourself. My Doc Martens are made with vegan leather, though I'll admit they don't do so well in wet weather. I'll buy them even though they're same price, worse quality, because that's the difference between people like you and people like me. I wouldn't sit on a seat if its cover once covered meat. The thought makes me shudder. I wouldn't put it in my tea if it once spilled from a teat or an udder. And if you think it's just a diet, well then, you're misguided. It's a lifestyle and a chance to say, hey mum, look what I did. If you doubt my severity, then you're misconstrued. I use vegan butter if I'm out of lube. Well, on that one, I don't know, it works really well. So, anyway, if you doubt my severity, then you're misconstrued. I use vegan butter if I'm out of lube. I won't use the tube because it affects the mice. I won't clean machines because that would kill the lice. Why? Because I'm a vegan.
Yes, you are.
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 But now there's this whole pandemic to quell. Guess it's lunch at 1:30, a face mask and a hand sanitizer gel. Sometimes this life can be hell. Wanna go back to watching Saved by the Bell when I get locked down. But I get up again. And then it seems I get locked down again. Staying 2 meters apart ain't good for the heart. And I don't know when we'll have a night out again. So I'm sad and I'm lonely. Head to the fridge for something to console me. And I'm all out of vegan butter. It's been a busy few weeks. But with no one looking, I fly off the hinge. Gobble cheese and milk on a pepperami binge. I nibble chicken and ham and eggs and lamb. I stuff a face with any animal I can fit in my hand, cause I've just put things into perspective. And I think, maybe I don't have to be so selective. There's so many things in life we'll have to go through. Maybe life's too short to stick to fucking tofu. But after that binge, am I still a vegan?
Yes, you are.
Am I a vegan?
Yes, you are.
Am I a vegan?
Yes, you are.
Am I a vegan?
Yes, you
Am
are.
I a vegan?
Yes, you are.
Vegan?
Yes, you
Am I
are.
basically the next Greta Thunberg?
Yes, you are.
Did I mention I'm a vegan?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I can't help but feel that was taking shots at me.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're vegan, aren't you?
You just performed that just because I'm here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Big up the vegans worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought, it was a good, slightly tongue-in-cheek. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like it. The bar about vegan butter as lube. Oh my days.
So I did that live at Trouble Tongues, right? And I sent a recording of it to my parents, to my dad, and my dad was like, can you have a clean version? And I was like, yeah,
you got a clean version.
And then I was like, yeah, you can take out all of the swearing. And I was like, wait, but you want me to remove the bit about vegan butter? I'm like, nah, it's like the punchline, Dad. Fuck you, Dad.
Shout out to Henry's family.
Yeah. Shout out to I'm going to say shout out to my dad here, because my dad is someone that which I asked him to be. I asked him to be a critic of the show. So if he thinks an episode's not very good, he tells me, and I really appreciate that, because you actually need that. You need that in your poetry. You need a friend that can give you critique, but I also need it in this. So my dad does that for me, and I have to put my tail between my legs when he does so. But then I learn from it. So
I like that. You got someone in your corner just looking out for you. Because you just want, people want you to improve. Yeah. And that's all it's about, like self-development, critique. I feel as though it's something that we could all learn from, Interestingly, I've got a few questions from our lovely word-spoken fans around the world that I asked.
In Taiwan.
Yeah. Shout out. But yeah, I put the question out there on my Instagram, obviously, and obviously Henry did as well. If we've got any burning questions that we'd like to ask Henry, please send it to us straight away. So the first one is, what's been the hardest stigma to break regarding spoken word and poetry? Or page poetry, actually, is the question.
Stigma?
Yeah.
Do you mean a stigma about spoken word?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's what they were getting at.
The hardest one to break. I would say the one that I've been trying to do more recently is, I think lots of people that aren't into spoken word think that it's a bit narrow and all a bit samey. And anyone that is involved in the scene knows that is not the case.
Never the case.
Right? Yeah. and I think people's perception is it's just like so deep, and everyone only writes about the worst thing that's ever happened in their life, and then they capitalize off the fact
it's like trauma porn, right?
Trauma porn,
you hear about especially in American slam poetry.
Yeah, let's have a little dig at the Americans. But I mean, look,
we love the Americans. Shout out to Pancake as well. I love that episode.
Definitely.
Really episode.
So that's the stigma that I try and break down, because it's not reflective of the scene. That is a part of the scene, but also there's just so much more to it. I just think there's so much more to it, and to ignore, just to represent the scene as a whole equally, and to not kind of go down a one-track route is probably the thing that I've been trying to break. I'd say maybe that's a good answer. I don't know.
No, I get you. Second question is, why didn't you cut your hair sooner?
Who asked that?
I'm not telling.
Oh,
I ain't a snitch.
I know. I change my hairstyle like I change my socks. Not every day. I wear socks for months. Don't know why I said that. I don't. I always change my hairstyle. Anyone that knows me that pretty much every time they see me, like if I haven't seen them in a few months, I've got a completely different lid. I don't know why. It's because I'm unsure of myself and constantly wanting to try out new things. Yeah. So that's why. I had it long. I get it long. I've been looked like Liam Gallagher before. I've had it bleached blonde. I've had a skinhead. I've had very long. I've had this. I mean, you name it. I've had it mullet. I've kind of had a bit of a mullet once.
Yeah.
I honestly, if you go for my, not urging anyone to do this, but if I ever or anyone else does flick through my Facebook photos, I mean, bloody hell, I've tried on a lot of stuff, and I look like a muppet in most of them. So, yeah,
it has provided many a night's entertainment. The third question from our fans is: where would you like to see our poetry community or creative scene evolve?
Yes.
And how?
Great question. Yeah. Whoever asked that one. That's the thing. So look, I want a mainstream spoken word. I think, and also I want to do it for a youth audience, because I just feel like, look, when we go to open mics, right, it's a youth crowd. Like people are kind of typically in their 20s, right? And obviously teenagers just aren't able to go.
But you get a few teenagers here and then. You get
totally. Totally. And I absolutely love that. But I feel like so many teenagers aren't really aware of this art form and would not only benefit from it so much themselves, but they would like it. They would start to kind of create a culture like around it. But I feel like the barrier to that happening right now is exposure. And that's what I think we just need to do. We need to create a kind of footprint where young people can see their stories and their voices reflected in poets. They can start writing though. I just want it to become a mainstream art form for younger people. Because like poetry and spoken word, there's a couple of segments on things like Radio 4, which is great, and that's kind of cool. But it obviously serves an older age group.
It's not in the forefront of everyone's mind.
Yeah, and I just feel like, you know, for a younger group, there is that BBC Words First thing, which I think is brilliant, and I think that's kind of great. But I just feel like, why is there not well-known poets on Radio 1? Like, if you ask a random teenager in the street to name a rapper, they're going to be able to do it. Yeah. You ask them to name a poet, and they're probably not. And I think they would like it, but they haven't been exposed to it.
But the thing is, like, it's crazy because I've done workshops in schools with secondary school kids, and as part of it, I try to subvert the expectation by showing them like a rapper, or, you know, like a poet, like a musical artist. And then I just explain to them, like, if you break it down, it's poetry. Yeah. It's all poetry. Poetry's all around us, you know, but they don't realize that because they don't call themselves poets.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think one of the other things is, all you need to start doing this, unlike most of the art forms, is a pen and paper. You don't need an instrument. You don't need money to buy anything. You don't need to be skilled in anything. You just need access to a pen and paper, which every single person in this country luckily has. Most people, I mean, come on. So it's a accessible art form, which is currently being very much I think the potential of spoken word is kind of very much untouched. What am I going to say? Something.
Yeah. Just hear it.
Unfulfilled.
Unfulfilled. Yeah. Fulfill your potential, everyone. Is there any more to that piece of advice you'd like to give anyone listening who may be thinking of, you know, writing or performing or even wanting to like come on this podcast eventually?
So for poets, some advice for poets, record your stuff, make some video content using your phone and put it out there. I think, putting your work out there is the most important thing you can do. I think lots of people have a lot of pieces that never really see the light of day, or they only do them at open mics. And I think that's silly. You need to have a kind of page where anyone that can come across your work will find your stuff. Even a website, right? I think a website is a really good idea because, you know, if you want to get corporate gigs and get like, you know, you need a website or an Instagram for someone to point to. But I think thinking about creating content which can be shared and is accessible to as large a number of people as possible is what everyone should be doing. Because other than that, I feel like you're basically a good painter that doesn't paint, you know?
Jeez,
do you know what I mean?
No, that's
we have to do that.
Truth. We need that.
That's what I urge people to do is create some stuff, videos, audio, start a podcast, whatever, but just put it out there because that helps with like the visibility of the scene. Yeah,
we're all creatives at heart, all of us. Yeah. Now we're getting onto the part of the show, which is the infamous eyes and ears.
Love it. Eyes and ears. Okay, that's for you.
So, eyes and ears is the part of the show where we get a recommendation from our guest. Something for our eyes to feast on and something for your ears to find blissful.
Yeah, you're good at this.
I'm learning. I'm learning from the best.
Okay.
So, what are your eyes, Henry?
My eyes. So, for this one, what I've decided to go for is there's a YouTube channel which I've recently found, and it's run by a guy called Alvin Zhou. So ALVINZHOU, right? Okay. And if you're looking for some soothing, beautifully cinematic, perfectly like the sound design is beautiful on these as well. Yeah. Cooking films. I'm going to call them films because that's what they are. He basically has recipes which involve very long and slow processes to making food. So he's got one which is 100-hour fudge brownies, right? So it takes him 100 hours to make it from start to finish.
How does he have the time?
I feel he's like a student, but he shows you the process. It's shot beautifully.
Yeah.
It's cinematic. It's just brilliant. And my God, these freaking brownies look amazing. So Alvin Zhao, go and check him out. He's only started doing this 2 months ago, right?
Oh, that's
so
proper
we'll be
recent.
ahead of the curve, people. But
No,
I
that's real
honestly
recent.
reckon his channel is going to pop off.
Yeah.
And it is just something about it is captivating.
Yeah.
So
Shout
yeah,
out
it's a bit of a weird one, that one,
Yeah.
but I felt like that would be good.
No.
Check him out.
We like weird. We like weird and wonderful.
Mhm.
It's just boring being normal.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, what is your recommendation for ears?
So this one is another podcast. The podcast is called Making Sense by Sam Harris.
Sam Harris.
Yeah, so he's a guy from the US. He's a liberal in the US. He's left wing, and he's actually a neuroscientist turned political and like turned political commentator, I guess is the way to put it. And I feel like his show, he's got loads, about 200 eps on there, but he has conversations and dialogue, which I think right now are so important and are really lacking elsewhere. I think one thing, I'm just getting a bit like preachy, but one thing I really notice with our kind of modern fucked up world is we're not able to have conversations with people we disagree with without it resulting in shouting or like social media trolling.
100% agree.
And I think that is really, really dangerous. Like that doesn't lead to a good thing. I think if you meet someone that disagrees with you, they're the best people to speak to.
Exactly.
And we've got these like echo chambers where everyone just kind of thinks that their opinion isn't an opinion, it's a fact. And people forget that everything you think is an opinion, mostly. So anyway, this show deals with lots of contemporary social issues in a really, I think, measured way. And I just think more people need to hear it. And look, even if you listen to something that he says or one of his guests says and you disagree with it, like I do, for sure. I'm not just like thinking he's the one source of truth, but
you still soaked it in.
You can hear someone that you disagree with put a very good case forward to something that you don't think's right. And I think that's something we should all be able to do more often. So Making Sense by Sam Harris, please go and check it out. It's fantastic. Also, his voice is so soothing. I sleep to it every night.
I love the American accent.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I don't, to be honest.
Do you not like it?
No, I mean, it is fine.
Man, they also say that they love the British accent.
Yeah. Well, I'll take that as a win. No, he's got an incredibly soothing voice because he does like meditation as well. So if you want a sleep podcast, check that out.
Cheers. Versatility at its finest. Oh, that's amazing, man. I think we're at that part of the show as well.
This is it, mate. Yeah.
Oh, cry. Getting very emotional in that. Where we're going to end it. This incredible experience. I just wanted to say off the bat as well, thank you, Henry, for letting me do this. Oh, fam, you've entrusted me with this, so I appreciate it, and I hope I've done you proud and all you listeners proud. I've been your host, Ace, and
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Honestly, look, thanks, mate, for doing this. This is kind of a bit weird, isn't it?
This was very weird, but I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it? How did you find it?
I did. Weird. I think I prefer being on the other side of the studio.
Yeah.
But no, you did a good job. So thank you, mate.
No, I appreciate it, man. We learned a lot about you, and I really hope maybe in another year time we can. Come back, not me, hopefully someone else. Yeah, 2 years. I really hope that this evolves into something bright and beautiful because it deserves it, like all and more. You know,
I hope so. I want to keep it growing. In order to do that, actually, can people, like, if you're still listening, you've got this far through, well done, cheers. Can you give it a little rating on Apple? Because that helps. So only 5 stars. If you're going talking about 4s and being like, he's all right, no, but you can keep quiet. But if you do give it a 5 stars, that really like helps in the rankings, and the rankings help getting people that wouldn't otherwise come across it.
They do. And can I just say, you have evolved so much in a year. Like, it is insane, the work rate that you've been putting in. Guys, or everyone who's listening, you won't see it behind the scenes, but I know for a fact, and I've seen it like with my own eyes, Henry's passion for what he does. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. and you just deserve all the credit and more. And I know you go, you know, throughout life and you don't expect anything, but I want to say, you know, thank you for everything. You've shone a light on so many people who deserve to be shone on. And now you've blessed us with your poetic talent. Do you know
Throw
what I
my
mean?
hat into the ring.
Oh yeah, finally we got him on. We got him on, and it was all worth it. And yeah, I wish you nothing but another year of more success, more life, more blessings. Bro, you deserve it, man.
Let's do it.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Word Spoken 1 year anniversary special. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Ciao.